Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from the West Coast. Josh Lander, joined as always by my guy on the East Coast, Nate Weitzer. Another great article for tonight's NBA slate for you guys on playpicks.com from Nate. Some best bets, DFS strategy, and all the like. As always, if you do need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com. Find those local listings in your area. And as always, please like and subscribe to the video and jump in those comments. We're going to have another gift card prop for you guys tonight, as nobody was able to get Steph's pretty abysmal line last night for himself. Only 18 points, 2 for 14 from 3. Not a solid night as they lost to the Wizards. So we'll get another prop out here for you guys in just a sec after we jump into those lines for tonight. Nate, let's get it.
Warriors were still up 11 with like 6 minutes left, and they just completely ran out of gas at the end of that road trip, apparently.
They want to play in that playing tournament.
No, sir. But moving on to the 6-game slate here on Thursday the 22nd, we have the Suns -4 at the Celtics. Jaylen Brown is expected to sit in that one. That's key there. Pelicans right now -9 at Magic. The Sixers are +8 at Bucks. Got to keep an eye on Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris, both game-time decisions there. Pistons +8 at Spurs. The Hornets +1.5 at the Bulls. And the Lake Show expected to get Anthony Davis back on a limited basis tonight. They are +4 at the Mavericks. So given that, Josh, is that where you are starting us off in terms of betting angles?
It is. I don't think AD will have that big of an impact tonight. There's no way he plays more than 20 minutes, probably closer to 15, to be honest. Really, though, what I'm looking for there is not necessarily AD. There's a couple other guys. Marc Gasol is questionable. Not too worried about that. Schrader, Drummond, and Markieff Morris all expected to play. And so I think we're still looking at sort of analyzing this game through the lens of they still don't really have AD and LeBron. So it's still the same team we've seen for about 10 games now. They're 6-4 against the spread in that time frame. They've done pretty well without their stars, especially on defense, right? They still hold, the best defensive rating in the league right now, or at least they give up 107 points per 100 possessions, which is tops in the league right now. So, with their trees down low, what I'm looking for on the other side from Dallas is whether or not KP plays on the second leg of this back-to-back. Also saw Maxi Kleber leave yesterday's game with an injured back, so they're a little bit thin down low. They also don't play well in the second leg of those back-to-backs, 4-7 against the spread this year in those situations. An interesting stat too, just not playing well against teams who have a really nice net rating, which the Lakers are in the top 10, and versus teams in the top 10 this year in overall net rating, they're just 2-9. And they average a -9 point differential in those games. They only shoot about 33% from three. So it's not really something that, the Lakers matchup for them is not something that really makes me feel good about it, especially with the thin front court. So right now, as it stands, before we really even know fully who's going to play for the Mavs, I do like taking the Lake Show at about 3.5 points, potentially even teasing them up a smidge with a couple other at least one other game we might talk about here in a sec.
Yeah, I think it's a night to tease games for sure. A lot of these spreads sitting there at 4 or 8 points that you really don't feel comfortable unless you get them up or down. It's just interesting to know that the Lakers are in Dallas for 2 games now. So I don't know how they're going to approach that. This is the type of team to loaf in that first game and then turn on the jets and show that they can dominate a team that they might see in the playoffs. So I think maybe based on that angle, if Porzingis is playing, it shows maybe the Mavs want this game more. Davis is just going to be happy to get out of there healthy. And then maybe the Lakers say, we'll see you in 2 nights. We'll beat you then. So yeah. I might be looking at the Mavs there. But, yeah, definitely a tough game to predict.
Yeah,
I am feeling pretty good about the Bucks and Sixers. Regardless of whether Simmons or Tobias play, I think we're going over. That has been a profitable strategy in every Bucks home game this year. They're 19-9 against the over. They're 13-6 against the over when they have a rest advantage, and the Sixers coming off a back-to-back tonight. You look at their defensive numbers. Simmons, one of the most underrated defenders out there. It jumps from 109 to 113, their defensive rating, and their offensive rating jumps a lot when Seth Curry plays. He rested last night, but probably will be out there tonight. We know what the Bucks try to do, right? They pack it in. They've done a really, really good job on Embiid over the last couple of years. Probably the best numbers defensively anyone has done, and they allow the fewest free throw attempts. So that's what they're going to try to do, is keep the big man off the line. But they're going to give up a lot of threes in response. So Seth Curry and Furkan Korkmaz are going to have to be clutch on the perimeter for Philly to stay close in this game. I do think they'll stay close, and I do think Embiid will find a way to get his numbers against this team. He's on the warpath right now. It's a premier MVP type matchup, and I think he will keep them close enough to cover that 8-point spread. It might even creep up if Simmons is ruled out, and I don't see the Sixers really losing by double digits. They might not win this game. Looking on the other side, Giannis is technically questionable, but he's fine. I think he just had cramps 2 nights ago, and he has just dominated in this matchup. He's probably going to have a field day if Simmons is out. He's averaging 32, 15 rebounds, 6.5 assists his last 10 versus Philly. If you don't like the spread for Milwaukee, which I do not, they have not covered in 6 straight home games, then you can try to double up on FanDuel. You can get Giannis 30-plus points in a win, plus 200, or just a Giannis double-double for minus 113. But overall, like the points, I mean, the Bucks score the most points per game in the league. They're over the last 10, they're 4th in pace. 7 out of those 10 have gone over. And they scored 112 and 119 their last 2 home games against Philly. It's kind of misleading to see the last matchup was 109, 105, and Embiid didn't play. And then you go back to last year when the Sixers just struggled mightily on the road, struggled with their spacing. It's just a different kind of offense right now. And with a total creeping down to 225, I feel very good about the over there.
Yeah, you're taking the over. I kind of missed last season when we knew Milwaukee at home was somewhat of a given. They were a really nice regular season team to bet on the last few years, and they've been a lot more inconsistent this year. To your point, at home as well. The points is also what I continue to look for, right, with that team at home especially. And then you look at Philly a little bit, potentially a little bit tired coming off a back-to-back. Which doesn't help their defensive legs. 225, I feel pretty good about where it's set right now. And I'll also say that is our gift card prop for tonight. I want to get that out to you guys. The total for the Bucks and 76ers game, drop that in the comments. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to the page to be eligible to win that gift card, and we'll hand out however many of you guess the correct total tonight. So like I said, I'm not eligible for that gift card, but I am going to put a little bit of money on the over there.
And that reminds me, when you said back to back, that's my key stat here is the Sixers are allowing 112 points per game on 10 back to backs this year. Every other situation they allow 108 or lower, so that's definitely key for trying to get those points.
Yep. Yeah, that shows those tired legs, as we mentioned a minute ago. I don't know. Honestly, the thing tonight is monitoring health, right? That seems to be the trend. In every game we've talked about so far, you're going to want to see who's playing up to the minute. Such is the case for the game I want to talk about with U.S. Celtics taking on the Phoenix Suns, who are on a pretty grueling Eastern Conference road trip and doing well. They just don't seem to let up. This is going to be their 3rd game in 4 nights. They only managed to win by about 3 points last night. It was a pretty grueling game against the Sixers in Philly. And then 2 nights ago before that, they were able to beat those Bucks by 1 in overtime. But as we were talking about before the show, they just don't give up. They're 10-4 against the spread on 0 days rest. And against the Eastern Conference, they're just killing it lately. They're 8-0 in their last 8 against them. That's 5-2-1 against the spread. That was since a weird loss in March to Orlando. So you see Phoenix just not letting up. Chris Paul, it's his last chance, man. This is the point guard's probably last legitimate chance, despite maybe next season. But I think we're going to continue to see him play really tough down the stretch, averaging about 16 points, almost 9 assists, and about 5 boards. Like really, really low what CP's bringing. And from Boston right now, it's mostly about who's playing for them tonight. As we said, I think, you mentioned Tatum's probably going to play, but Jalen's doubtful. Robert Williams is out. Fournier is out. Kemba is likely to play, but is also, nursing some health issues, is a little bit sick and under the weather. So I just don't know what I'm going to be getting from them after, they had that bad loss last time out against the Bulls as well. So, look, it's not something I feel great about right now. It's about 4.5. We mentioned all these weird spreads. I'll probably look to tease the Suns down to about a pick 'em. and maybe take them with the Lakers and tease them up a bit, as I don't think either of those games will be too much of a blowout.
Yeah, with the Celtics, it's not necessarily about who's playing. It's just about how they're feeling on that particular night, it appears. They had their guys against the Bulls on Monday and just let it go. You remember the New York Giants a couple years ago when they were competitive and it just no matter what, they would be in a game, whether they're playing the best team in the league or the worst.
Yeah.
That's this year's Celtics. They will be in this game, and the Suns don't really pull away from teams lately either. So I like the close game. I would feel very uncomfortable about Suns -4, but if you're feeling lucky, I'm just looking at these winning margins on DraftKings. The Suns to win by 1 or 2 points, plus 1,100. Give that a shot, or plus 500 for them to win by 3 to 6 points.
Love it.
I think we'll see a close game tonight. I mean, the important thing is Marcus Smart is back after a 1-game absence. He always, injects life into that Celtics team. They're going to be up for this game. They have a pretty big rest advantage, having not played since Monday. So I think that's key. The Suns do not let up, as you mentioned, with Chris Paul at the helm. So they're going to bring it, and I just think that the Celtics will be up for this game, and they will not let it slide. So if you are looking for a teaser to get Celtics +8 at home, I think you feel pretty good pairing that with another result. Also would like to tease the Pelicans down if possible, although they are wholly unreliable when they are listed as favorites this year. Instead, I think we can just back them scoring of quite a few points. Right now, their team total sits at 115.5, and you're getting much better odds on FanDuel than DraftKings for that. For DraftKings, you have to go up to 116.5 to get your nice -110. Either way, I really like the Pelicans over compared to the total for this game, because the Magic are scoring just 103 points per game over their last 8 and allowing nearly 120 in that span. Pelicans have struggled from deep. They actually have the worst 3-point percentage in that span, but the Magic have the second worst field 3-point percentage allowed in that span. Brandon Ingram, healthy again. Lonzo Ball, working his way back. But either way, their offense has come around. We saw them light it up against the Nets recently. Ingram has 27 plus in 5 of his last 6. We know what Zion's doing, getting the most free throw attempts per game in their last 8, and they're still playing at a fast pace. The over has hit in 3 straight meetings with these teams, including a combined 260 total in the bubble last year. And the Magic have gone over in 4 of their last 5. They've given up at least 111 points in 10 of their last 11. I mean, this is obviously a team that's completely overmatched at every position. They're just, and the Pelicans have some really talented individual offensive players that can just toy with guys who are fringe NBA players. And looking at just them as a team getting over 115, that's what I feel good about.
Yeah, I would take overs in that game. I'm only watching that game because I'm a huge basketball nerd and I want to watch Zion and I want to watch Cole Anthony, and that's really it. But other than that, I'm probably staying away from that gross game, honestly. And then another game I'm really just looking at quick hit in terms of the Charlotte Hornets taking on the Bulls. Don't love that game too much either way. Both teams sliding heavily with their stars out, with with Hayward and Levine out for Chicago. But I am looking at Rozier props right now. They all seem to be really low. He's averaging 26 points, 9 boards, and 7 assists over his last 5, including 4.5 threes made a game in that span. So you can get his points, rebounds, and assists for 32.5. Take that over. You can get his 3-pointers made at 2.5. I'll take that over as well. And go from there with Terry. And last point there, just looking at what opposing point guards do to the Bulls this year, pretty gaudy numbers. They're giving up 25 points, 9 assists, and 6 boards a game to opposing point guards this season. Those are really, really, really good numbers, starting all-star numbers if you're a point guard playing against the Hornets this season. So that's just a quick hit for you guys. And then Nate, if you want to drop any DFS strategy for us tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect segue because Terry Rozier, fantastic play right now, 7.8K on FanDuel. Just seeing a huge usage rate with the Hornets shorthanded. I like Kobe White on the other side of the ball there with no Levine. He's seeing a huge usage rate. I really like Embiid, obviously MVP caliber guy. But Matisse Thybulle, if Tobias Harris remains out, is an intriguing value in that game. He's just scored 23 FanDuel points without actually scoring a point in his last start. So that shows you the floor you're getting with the peripheral stats. Also like Jalen Brunson in a slow-paced game against the Lakers, and like our guy Najee Marshall for the Pelicans. He might get a little blowout boost tonight down the stretch, getting a little extra run.
Yep, Najee, while he's in that starting lineup, I'm going to keep playing him as well. That's all the time we have for today, guys. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page so you can jump in the comments tonight and guess that total points scored for the Bucks and Sixers. And let us know who you guys are betting on. Having fun jumping in there and messing around with you guys in the comments. We'll be back with another show to end the week tomorrow. And as for tonight, happy betting.